let's go with, come on. All right. So we're going to look at some of the challenges of securing information in today's networks, define some information security terms, and look at some information or identify different types of hackers or attackers that are common today. Look at some basic steps of an attack, how it works, how to defend those attacks. There's 5 steps we'll look at. And we'll end on Network Security Plus certification if you're interested. You can shoot me an email anytime in the next week that you're interested in Network Security Plus certification. It's a middle of the road certification. We do offer it here on campus, by the way, in the testing center now at a discounted rate for students. And what it is, I'll give you material to study on your own time. It's an adaptive test, meaning the things you're weak in, it'll hammer away at those, and then it gives you materials to study to help you for the test. And so if you're interested, I'll give you more information as the weeks go on, but if you're interested and want to take the Network Security Plus certification, I recommend studying over the semester and then maybe take it in the summer. You know, hammering away a month in the summer to get ready for it one last time and then taking the test. It's a good certification if you're wanting to go anything in security, network security, and definitely recommend it. Now, challenges of securing information. There's no simple solution. Those of you who've been in IT already know that. There's multiple solutions. Some might seem simple, but have you ever had somebody say, well, hey, this is only going to take maybe 5 minutes, right? And then what, 10 hours later, 10 pots of coffee later, no sleep. And like, why did I say I could do this? I can't remember what. Oh, yeah, that's my job. I guess I have to do it. And so there's no simple solution to securing information and multiple different ways to do it. And everybody has an opinion on how to do it as well. Now, this can also be seen through different types of attacks that we face today. You know, and because of mobility with what we have today via phones, via tablets, we're that much more susceptible to being hacked, being our data stolen. And because of that, attackers have found multiple ways to get folks' information, from celebrities hacking their photos and putting it everywhere online to non-celebrities, authorities like Kim Jong-il, making fun of him, trying to stop movies from showing and shutting down internet. The list goes on and on of things that hackers have done. Now, one of the funny things about the Kim Jong-un story and the movie that was postponed, then turned back on, was the interview. If you didn't know the movie, was, and I did go to see it. It's pretty bad, but it was kind of funny though, but pretty raunchy in places. But overall funny movie. It didn't surprise me, the content of it. But anyway, what was funny about it was I think it was around the time where Sony said they're going to release it. North Korea mysteriously lost the internet connection for like almost a half a day, 3/4 a day, something like that. And President Obama made a comment, and he goes, "Yeah, I heard about that. We're looking into it. We're getting somebody on that really quick." Yeah, right. And I don't know if you heard through the grapevine or heard on the news, Obama's really gotten one of his big pushes. If you agree with him or don't disagree with what he's done, he's actually gotten a lot of college kids and that are into ethical hacking, into learning about network security, to actually come to the White House and show them some stuff, which I don't know if that's all that great, but it makes you wonder what the government has done as far as with their connections to young people. But anyway, Attacks are multiple through mobile. Um, One of the ones that's really increased in the last year is ransomware. And ransomware is actually an attack that can attack either PCs, it can attack Macs, it can attack Linux, it can attack mobile. And what it is, it works through a web interface and then basically takes over the computer and tells the user, call this number or click on this link to pay X amount of dollars. And if you do, we will unlock all your data. Otherwise, you're shot in the foot with your data. It's gone. Now, folks that have paid the money, they do what they say they're going to do. They unlock the data. They let them go in and do that. Um, but there have been IT folks too that have had this happen. I've had two students last semester had that happen in their network, and what they ended up doing was uh, unplugging the computer itself from the network, from Cat5 and any other connections it might have had, and was able to isolate it pretty quickly, and then just re-image the computer. But home users that had this happen, um, believe it or not, pay. They pay. That's why these guys are doing it. And so
credit card, they probably take their credit card information.
take your credit card information. Yeah, what, MasterCard, Visa. How are you paying? So that type of thing. And so, but what they've actually done now is one step further in, not only locking the machine's data and encrypting it, but any cloud connections you have to that device. So if you have Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever, they figured a way how to lock that and encrypt that as well once they get into the system. And so 45% rise in the month of December and November of last year. And so you've probably heard of it. It's not in the news enough, I don't think, but it should be. But it's a big one. We'll talk more about that this semester, what it's all about and how to ward against that from happening. Typical warnings, though, on today's security attacks would be like a malicious program was introduced at some point in the manufacturing process of a popular brand of digital photo frames. Nigerian email scam claimed to be sent from the UN. Booby trap web pages growing at an increasing rate. A new worm disabling Microsoft Windows Automatic Update and Task Manager to where you can't kill any apps that are running, including the one that's the culprit. Yep.
How difficult is that for them to write something that goes in and disables like Task Manager? Is that like
very easy? It's a very easy app to create. Yeah. Yep. You don't even need to do that. Whoever said that, you don't even need to do group policy. Group policy would be one way, but if you know the right commands and right script to write, it doesn't take long to. It just takes a simple click of a mouse, and it can disable Task Manager. And there is ways around it. In fact, most of the time it's like a command line to where you can go in and kill the task through a command line, which most people don't know how to do. And then you can kill that task or kill that app if you know what the app name is. But yeah, that's a real popular one. Also, Apple has issued for the first time multiple updates, 25 security flaws. Last year was actually 75 security flaws in its OS and started pushing them out. Typical warnings as well. Anti-phishing group APWG reports a number of unique phishing sites continues to increase. And phishing websites, if you don't know, is basically just a site that guises itself as a real site to get people's money and data. Researchers at University of Maryland attached 4 computers, this is interesting, equipped with very weak passwords to the internet for 24 days just to see what would happen. These computers were hit by an intrusion attempt average once every 39 seconds. Somebody had their hand up in the back? No? Okay. And so basically, there's a program called Zone Alarm, you might have heard of. It's a software program for firewall. And if you don't have it on your machine, it's kind of fun to do this. You might already have another software firewall and you're using Windows Firewall or whatever at home. You can download Zone Alarm, the free version. And what Zone Alarm allows you to do is kind of it shows you all the intrusions as they come in, and then you have to say, okay, do you want this? Do you not want that? Do you want this? And you got to get to see in real time all the stuff that's coming in. And so if nothing else, I recommend doing it just to see, like go to your computer that has antivirus turned on and maybe another firewall turned on. Turn all that off, download Zone Alarm, turn it on, and just see the influx of stuff coming through, just for maybe 10 minutes just to see. And then uninstall it, put all your stuff back on that you had. Pretty interesting because you're amazed how your computer just sitting there, you're not doing anything, stuff's hitting it all the time. And, trying to find ways in the back door, trying to connect, trying to remote in, trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. There's programs out there just constantly feeding out in the web to get information 24/7. And what that's called is script kiddies, which we'll learn what that is this semester, which is basically you don't have to really know anything about technology or programming and download a script kiddie utility and take a website and take a web server down and deface a website, bring a server down, create attacks on other machines around you to, bring down IP addresses, bring confusion to your ISP, and get your neighbor in trouble across the street by finding out their IP address and doing something malicious or illegal in nature on that IP address. And so a whole bunch of things they either do it for fun or for profit. For the most part, hacks that are done today are for truly initially to learn, I believe. And then what happens is they think, wow, I can do this. And then, you know, I don't know if you've done this when you were younger or maybe, you forgot. But, when you get away with something once and nobody catches you, and then twice, and then three times, and then before too long, you get pretty brazen about it, right? And that's how black hat hackers become black hat hackers. It's over time. I think initially they start out just wanting to learn, wanting to figure stuff out, like most intelligent young people, and want to figure out how to get into something. Maybe initially to secure it, but then they figure out, secure schmur. I can make tons of money doing this, or I can bring down my server, or my friend that doesn't like me anymore, or the company that didn't give me the raise, and that's how it all happens. And so, security stats bear witness to a continual success of attackers. TJX company reported 45 million credit cards stolen and numbers stolen by attackers over 18-month period from 2005 2007. The third bullet here, total cost of a data breach in 2007 was 197 per record compromise. A recent report revealed that 24 governmental agencies rate an overall rating of C- when it comes to their security in-house. And this screen basically just gives some stats on some people, some attacks that happened. This top one is Massachusetts Division of Professional Licensure in Boston, Mass. Social security numbers of a licensed professional were inadvertently released. The information was erroneously mailed to agencies that submitted a public record request for only the names and addresses, but instead they also got all the social security numbers of these folks, 450,000 of them. Hartford Financial Group, 3 backup tapes that contained personal information was misplaced. U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs in Washington, investigation for a man's home uncovered a computer that held 1.8 million social security numbers from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, where he had been employed as an auditor. Veterans Affairs officials said a smaller number of veterans may be at risk because some items were duplicated. Well, that's relieving. It's comforting to know they were duplicated. Then the last one, Davidson County Election Commission. There's always stuff going on with elections every year. Someone broke into several county offices and stole laptop computers that contained social security numbers and other personal information for every registered voter in Davidson County, Tennessee, 337,000 people. So, because of the onslaught, some difficulties that go with attacks are the speed of these attacks, how sophisticated they are, more sophisticated each time than the last one. A lot of duplication, by the way, of attacks, or they're just morphed and renamed. Simplicity of attack tools, script kiddies being one, where you can just download different utilities to do different exploits. Attackers can detect vulnerabilities more quickly and more readily exploit these vulnerabilities. Delays in patching hardware and software from Microsoft, Apple, Google, whomever, can cause problems because a lot of these ethical hacker societies will actually contact these folks and say, we found these issues. If you don't fix them, we're going to release them to the public in X amount of days. Give you 30 days to fix it. Delays in patching hardware and software. Most attacks are now distributed instead of coming from one source. They're literally all over the place, millions of different servers. And then user confusion because do I click on it? Do I don't click on it? Do I go there? Do I don't go there? Do I share this? Do I don't share it? I mean, do I go to this website? Do I not go to this website? And so it's confusing for folks. And I think a lot of times people just say forget it, do whatever I want, don't really care. And then because of that attitude, makes it worse. Makes it worse for themselves. Makes it worse for the nature of the beast of the attacks. But it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Attacks are going to get worse, not just on individuals. It's focusing now on governmental entities and county entities that we've already seen in the last 6 months around the nation. So here is an idea of the sophistication of attack tools. So on the left side of the axis here, it's the level of knowledge, either high or low. And then over time, it shows you, like say back in the 90s, your sophistication of knowledge needed to be pretty high, meaning there wasn't many tools around then. You had to code a lot of stuff. You had to learn script yourself and inject scripts into networks to get them to do things malicious. Then you'll notice around 1998, 1999 is where it intersected here and backdoors began to come to play. And what that is holes in software where hackers can remote into those holes and take over a computer. One of those services was a Microsoft service called Messenger.exe that was used for messenger service, and it's a service for like Microsoft Messenger, which is used to be a very popular messaging service from Microsoft. You might remember, kind of like an AOL, but for Microsoft intranets and also intranets, both extranets outside of the network. And so IT folks scrambled back then to disable that service because nobody was using it anyway. Everybody at that time was using AOL. If they were using Instant Messenger, they definitely weren't using Microsoft Messenger. And still today aren't using Microsoft Messenger. And so, but you'll notice as it goes down, you get into what's called hijacking sessions. This is basically hijacking a website or even a whole network diagram and replacing it with a hacker's own diagram of what that network should look like. And mimicking it and making fun of it and, putting weird stuff on the web page like hacked by 260X, I rule, you stink, something like that, whatever. So, and then they'd have these competitions on how many websites could be defaced in a month. And they meet in these places in New York and LA and Florida and, even up north in Canada. And have, competitions and name recognition basically and awards and all this stuff. Sniffers basically sniffing the network for any type of weakness. Could be a port that's open that shouldn't be open, like say port 21 for FTP. Well, they find out it's open, they find out it's unsecure, they can go in and get all the files from the server, or maybe put files in the server, link it, and send it out to everybody in the known world that they can find, maybe a customer database, and it's a picture of, pornography or something. They've sent it out to all of the people in their contact database, and now it defaces that company, and they lose business. Stealth diagnostics. This would be an example of going in and behind the scenes without the user knowing, even on a server, it's doing diagnostics like what web pages you visit, how often. Some of these diagnostics are used for marketing firms, by the way, to determine ads that they pop up, or that's pretty much gone by the wayside, if you notice. There are still ads that pop up, But I don't know if you've noticed the hard mail coming into your inbox at home is increased. Marketers are really pushing up their game with, and you're like, where are they getting all this information at? Some of them are actually giving this information from diagnostics that you don't even know is running on your PC. It could be a diagnostic from a game you downloaded and it's pushing it to a marketing firm. And then they're using that diagnostic for demographics of your age, what websites you visit. So if you're a sports guy, sports gal, and you visit sports sites all the time and stats, they're going to send you stuff in the mail about that, Sports Illustrated, whatever. Emails will do that as well. And then, in fact, marketing is the number one moneymaker in the world. Marketing, whether it be email marketing, web marketing, social media marketing, that's where the money's at right now. And if you think about it, there's no paper. There's zero paper. You can do it from anywhere. You don't even have to have a cubicle. You don't have to have a building, and you make millions. Yeah.
The stealth diagnostics, is that why, like, if I go on eBay and I look up something, I'll go to Amazon and that same product will like pop up on the
It could, yeah, you're right, because it could save to your computer somewhere a cookie of that information, and then Amazon might use it to pop up an ad for you about a sale on their site. And you could say that's intrusion, you could say whatever, but people are doing it, companies are doing it for sure, and it is a form of intrusion, I think, and so, but companies do it all the time. And packet spoofing, what this is, and we'll do a lab this semester on that, is basically where we'll spoof an IP address. We'll spoof a MAC address. And what that means is my Mac here has whatever IP address. Another Mac here is an attacker, finds out my IP address, can then spoof it to his computer and do malicious activity. And then at the end of the day, when that malicious activity is reported or whatever the case may be, it's directed towards my computer. And then vice versa, it could actually take an IP address and cast it to everybody in here, and everybody in the room is doing the malicious activity that's targeted to one PC. That's one way spoofing is used. The other way spoofing is used on the MAC address scale is for access into SSIDs through a Wi-Fi access point. A lot of businesses use use your MAC address filtering to block folks from even seeing their SSID. Well, if the hacker can find a valid MAC address in a network that's included in that list, they can get into a access point easily and hack into the network that way. And then tools with GUI, what this means is tools with a fancy front end interface of doing everything under the sun, from exploits to hacking websites to cyber terrorism. All these tools are available with a simple Google search. Finding these tools, and we'll show you some more this semester how easy they are to find, and how not just young people are doing this that have all the time in the world on weekends, but it's also other groups that are taking part in it as well and adding to these tools and making them free for anyone to find. This is a tool that's called Backtrack. It's a network security distribution operating system that runs natively from a DVD drive. It boots up from any computer, laptop, and it's a full-blown operating system with tons of exploits, you can just see from the screenshot here, scanners, password attacks, fuzzers, spoofing, sniffers, wireless tools. Under wireless tools, Kismet is one of the top hacking tools to crack a WEP and WPA network security, Wi-Fi access point. Cracking, Bluetooth snarfing. Bluetooth snarfing is where most people, by the way, use Bluetooth on their phone. They have it turned on, but they never use it. Bluetooth snarfing is where you can actually remote control a phone around you. And there's tons of Droid apps that allow you to do this, by the way. You can download a snarfing tool for Droid and then blue snarf folks around you. And what you can do with that is not only remote their phone, but you can send files to their phone. You can get files from their phone, like contacts, notes, things of that nature. And a lot of people don't even know about it. And it would happen and people wouldn't even know about it, literally. Cisco tools they've got out there for routers and hacking into routers, hacking into switches. database tools, hacking into SQL servers, doing a SQL injection is what it's called. Forensics tools could be used for digesting and indexing a hard drive. And so all of these tools that are up here that are being shown can be used for IT for valid purposes to do penetration testing on your network to see how well your network holds up to all these attacks. But on the flip side, it's definitely used by, and this, by the way, this tool is actually developed by network security folks over the years, and added to and morphed, and it's now changed to a new name that we'll use this semester. And you guys will get I'll bring them in, and you guys can use them and show you how to use it. But it's technically used for ethical hacking purposes initially, but hackers get a hold of it and use it for the reverse. And so it's kind of one of those catch-22 things. I always tell students the first few weeks of this class is, you've heard the term, keep your enemies close to you and get to know them. And there's a reason for that. And it's not just to, have them rub off on you, but it's so you kind of know their game plan and how they function, without you actually crossing over that line. And so you do have to kind of go into the enemy's camp and kind of peruse what their life is and why they do what they do. Because until you kind of know why they do what they do and what ways they use it, it's kind of hard to defend against it, if that makes sense. Now, in most businesses today, they'll never see a major attack. Most businesses won't see any type of major attack. But it only takes one. It literally only takes one attack. Like what I mean by all your customers' information being put out there for everybody to see. It takes once. You can't undo that. And if public, you're shot in the foot. It's done. And so, most IT departments are like, well, that's never happened, so what's the big deal, right? What's to say it's going to happen? And you're right. It's kind of like that commercial that's out now about, I think it's, what is it, luck insurance or something? What is it? Is it luck health insurance? I'll just chance it. We'll see what happens. And it's kind of like, some IT departments. So it's not the IT departments, by the way, and IT guys and gals in there. It's a business. They don't think it's worth spending the money to secure the network because it does cost money. It does cost money. This hardware, software, the skills, the expertise cost money. Because if you don't have the skills and expertise to do it, you got to hire it out, and there are firms that will come in and do it for you. But I know it's well worth the effort, whether it be hiring somebody to come in and do it or hiring a contractor to do it. And there is, by the way, monies for businesses of all shapes and sizes to get federal grants. You better believe there's federal grants today available for folks wanting to secure their network. The government wants to help. They do. And I went through a couple grant writings myself a few years back, and I was amazed at all the different funds available for small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses. And so funding isn't the issue. It's, I guess it's weakness. Weakness is the issue. Because whenever you say, we want to harden our network to your boss and make it more secure, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Aren't you guys doing your job? Our network's weak? What do you mean? And you start explaining to them what you're talking about, and then, oh, okay. But at first, there's always that defense come up, because unless you have all your ducks in a row and all your research in a row and be able to present it in a way to where they're on board, it does ruffle the feathers of those that have the purse strings in your business, because they know automatically when you come to them, it's going to cost money. They know that. But it's not going to be near as much money as if a data breach happened or something like that. And you can share that with them in ways that, collecting data on the attacks. And they've heard of some of them. Everybody has. They don't have to be in IT. They've heard of attacks, but, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about it. So we'll talk about ways this semester I'll help you in the role of IT to be able to create some type of presentation and present it to those that have money in your business to be able to get the things you need to get to secure your network. And only you really know that. I mean, you know your network, you know the weaknesses, you know the strengths, and sometimes you need to get help. And so you can, I'll help you with that, help you sell that to, it's basically selling it to those that have the funds to help you. And I've had to do it multiple times over my lifetime. And I probably will still have to do more in the future. And so also there's some reasons because of these difficulties of attack. The speed is basically attackers can launch attacks against millions of computers within minutes. And you'll learn a term called botnets this semester. A botnet's basically a little app, say it's a meg in size, that runs on 1 million computers. And at 3 a.m. every morning, it uses those 3 million computers or 5 million computers to do some process. Well, that process could be calculating the mathematical equation for population growth, which is a positive thing. That's a good thing, right? Or it could also be to take down a electrical grid of Chicago. That's a bad thing. All right, so it could be used for either or. Greater sophistication of attacks. Attack tools vary on their behavior. Simplicity. Attackers no longer limited to highly skilled attackers. Detect vulnerabilities more quickly. Attackers can discover security holes in hardware or software. And the reason for this is because all attackers are signed up to every beta software you can sign up for. If you've never heard of beta software, which I'm not going to assume everybody has, a beta software person is somebody that tests software before it comes out. Okay, Microsoft does it, Mac does it, Linux does it. The top two definitely Microsoft and Mac. And what it is developers, you get access to this stuff before it comes out. Like say, an example is the Apple Watch coming out here pretty quick, right? Well, I've had the code and been able to build apps for that for the last 4 months. And I've also found things that are not so good about it, things that are kind of security problems, and I've submitted them, and other developers have as well. And the reason they do that for beta is to kind of close all these holes that maybe they didn't catch, they didn't find. And that's important to do. But what happens is the attackers, that black hat hackers, keep track of all this stuff. And then when the software is released, they check all the stuff that they've submitted, because they probably have submitted all these things. If they haven't submitted, guess what? It's time to attack. It's time to turn it on. And so they really feel, there's some that really feel it's their job to police software and to police those that make software, to make their job more, to make the public safer. And they feel they're doing that by creating these attacks at times. And so a lot of these attacks might not do anything to cause any harm. It might just show the company, oh, we might want to fix this. Okay. Like an example might be Google goes out for 10 minutes at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. No internet service for Google worldwide. It actually happened a while back. And there was a software glitch that they had not fixed, had to do with server related. Well, here at 6 a.m., not really doing much, right? We're still asleep. But in other places around the world, it's midday. It's daytime. It's, business time. And so they got in some trouble over that and fixed it pretty quick. And they had been working on it and just hadn't released it. And so, stuff like that happens. So what is information security? Knowing why information security is important and who the attackers are beneficial. And the attackers have changed. It's not the white pasty kid in the basement that never leaves the basement and eats pizza and drinks Mountain Dew all the time anymore. It's not that. It's not us. Not me anymore. It's everybody. It's the kids that basically, it's a grandma, grandpa. Actually, they found hackers in their 50s and 60s. They found them from all socioeconomic backgrounds and walks of life. Lawyers, doctors turn hackers. And so defining information security. Security can be considered as a state of freedom from a danger or risk. The state or condition of freedom exists because protective measures are established and maintained. I guess a key word there would be maintained. I think at one time or another, every business has this on their horizon, security, And then over time, the maintenance goes down. The maintenance goes away because it costs money, costs time. Nothing's happened. Do we really need to do this anymore? Do we really need to spend this money on the service still? Do we really need to update new hardware on this server and spend another 10 grand? The one we have works pretty good. So maintenance starts going down. Information security is a task of guarding information that's in digital format, and everything's in digital format today. Even healthcare is moving everything to digital format. Paperless student records, patient records are being converted all over. It's happening locally with OSF and St. Anthony's, Swedes, Rockford Memorial, all converting to paperless. And what that means is because everything's been converted to digital format, that's even more information to secure. It also ensures that protective measures are properly implemented. Measures could be, where are things backed up at and what type of facility? Is the room you store it in important? We'll find out about that this semester. Is the doors that access that room important as far as how people access it? Do they access it via proximity card, retina scanner, voice recognition? What do we use? Is there any type of pressure sensitive floor, or like we have in this room here, a sensor in the middle, in the corner of the room, and this room's alarmed when we leave, to secure all the hardware we have in here, thousands of dollars of hardware. I don't know if you notice, around the campus, almost every hardware device has a steel cable to it, monitor, projectors, because people have swiped them over the years. So a room's left open. Where'd the projector go? It was there last night. Oh well. And so they bought a $2 steel cable, and pretty much all your hardware you guys buy today has mounts, or very easily can create mounts to mount those steel cables. And it's everywhere. It's not just in schools, it's in businesses. I was in security for a religious institution going through school. I was in one of the security over video, and we had video, like 150 video cameras throughout the facility. And again, this is a religious institution, right? We call people at least 50, 60 times a day stealing stuff. Monitors, mouses, keyboards, laptops. Do you really need a hard drive? What are you going to do with it? Well, I don't know. We got the shipment in them. And what we would do is actually film them leaving, have it documented, contact their manager, say, okay, we got the film, we got the proof, whatever. And the de facto rule was, if they admitted to it, they were going to have to go through some type of little training or whatever, and slap on the wrist, warning. But if they didn't up to it, they were not only fired, but they were charged and handcuffed and taken away by police. And so, sad to say, it's about a 50-50 thing. 50% of them would confess, 50 wouldn't. But what's sad was, again, it's a religious institution. So if it's happening in a religious institution, it's happening everywhere in the world, right? In every known business that has products going in and out. And so you cannot completely prevent attacks or guarantee that the system is totally secure. But you know what? You can really try hard to do it. And it is hard. It's a lot of hard work. And what's really hard about it isn't the work, it's the constant change and influx of how security changes on a monthly basis. It used to be yearly basis, now it's monthly basis. Well, that patch worked last month, doesn't work this month. What do you mean? It doesn't work. Well, that hardware worked last year just fine. Why do we need a new one? Well, 2 places that had that hardware were hacked into last year, and all their credit cards were stolen. I guess we can take a chance. Oh no, let's go ahead and get it. And so, it's constantly changing all the time. IT is constantly having to, you just get used to setting up some piece of hardware and getting used to it. And then guess what? You got to buy a whole nother, maybe that company goes out and goes belly up. You got to buy a whole nother piece of hardware and learn all about that. It's constantly changing and growing and moving and morphing, and companies have to really keep up on it. And so, information security is intended to protect information as value to people and organizations. Value comes from these characteristics: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, with the advent of social media, you can understand why HR folks and people that are over information security in any business really doesn't like social media being used, or any social media being used inside the four walls of your workplace. Because social media can be easily used to share files easily, regardless of what it is. It can be pictures, documents, whatever. It's a click of the mouse, it's shared to everybody on your friend and everybody in the world that's there forever. And so a lot of companies are actually opting to disable all of these types of services and maybe creating their own, like even intranet type of stuff for folks to use. But it's I hate to say it's a losing battle, but in a way it is. Fighting it that way, you almost have to make it to where your network and things are secure and people are educated enough to where if they do use social media, which you know they're going to, they're smart about it, they're educated about it, and they're told the pitfalls of it. Because people that share stuff they shouldn't share are generally never educated about it. Never. They never are. You ask them, well, I thought it was fine to do that. Okay, you thought it was fine to share corporate information on Facebook. I don't get it. Well, nobody ever told me otherwise. I don't see the big deal. Aren't we a public company? Well, yeah, but you just shared a new product that we just released today that, our competition knows about now, this intricate data or something. And so, just stuff like that. And these are salespeople and things like that. So social media is here to stay. It is. It is. Cloud devices are here to stay. And one of the arguments you'll hear in IT is, well, we want to keep it all local. We want to keep it all in-house. We got to lock it down. It's nearly impossible to do that. So why fight the beast? Why not maintain it and manage it and control it? Okay. An example would be Dropbox. Okay, a real popular file sharing app that everybody uses. They actually have a product now that works in-house, a Dropbox type of app or hardware device that you can use as a corporate, behind your corporate firewall, secure it, and let your folks use it and access it, password protect it, wrap it around a whole bunch of security, and they can use that to share files and share media and whatever it is they need to do for their clients in a corporate, behind a corporate firewall. The reason why people use social media and any cloud-based stuff is because that's what people use today. That's the culture we live in, and it's not going to get less cloud and less social. It's going to get more cloud and more social, right? And so I don't know if you've read the news or you've read these companies are cropping up all over on cloud security, on coming into your company to show you what cloud security is, setting up a cloud secure environment, and they're a dime a dozen. They're coming up, every day of the week, and they're just starting. Literally, there's hundreds and hundreds of new ones every week, just starting. And so what that tells you is that companies are needing that, they're wanting it, demand's there, and they know they're going to have to cave in and get up with the times, basically. Get up with the times of today, which is social media and cloud, and we're going to use it. Let's find a way to securely use it. So here's what happens, and I'll end on this one here. You got your information in the middle there, and you got integrity, confidentiality, and availability. Talked a little bit about the communication side of it with social and file sharing, but also there's also software and hardware that are part of this as well. People are bringing in their mobile devices connected to your network. Okay, BYOD, bring your own device. Companies now are using totally tablets for everything now, no desktops or laptops in the whole place. And data is, how are we going to store data? Are we going to store it on the device, or are we going to view it, let that device view it on, like, say, a mobile Dropbox, server in the file server in the server room, to where it's viewable, but they can't really do anything with it but view it. There are some ways to secure it and keep the integrity of it. Because one of the things you don't want to do is have folks sharing different files, an attachment, like, say, of the same file, when they should just be sharing one file with one link to all of their clients or whatever. And when that one file's changed, guess what? And everybody clicks on a link again the next time, it's all updated and ready to go. And so availability is also important. If you're going to have something in-house, it's got to be available. It's got to be robust. It's got to have a 99.99% uptime available for your customers. And so that's why a lot of customers and businesses are going to like Google Drive and pay money. Amazon's a big one. It's the biggest guy on the block right now with cloud, the biggest one. And they've got all the machinery, they've got all the hardware, they've got all the software, the security, they've got the apps, they've got everything you need if you want to go there. And Office 365 you might have heard of, all cloud based. And you guys as students this semester for the first time, Apple's now offering for students Office 365 at no charge. You guys can use it, access it. If you're not doing it right now, I recommend it. You can just Google it, Office 365 for students. It'll show you what to do. And all campuses around the nation, they're doing that for now. Yes?
Even if you're on a Windows base?
Doesn't matter. Yep. Yeah, you gotta check into it. And information in the center is the most important. And so, but you'll notice the last three wrappers is products, people, and procedures. So if you have good people and good product, but you have terrible procedures, you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? And I believe that most all companies have good people and good products for the most part. They really do. The procedures is a part of the organizational security part. How are things organized? Who does it? Who does organize? Who wants to organize? That's the question, I guess. And it does take a special group of people or person to want to organize your business securely. That means everything from where servers are located, where computers are located, how people access your server room, how people access the building in multiple different ways. Well, how do we access the building at what times? How many people can access a network at what times? Do we block it when it's off hours? Do we block access off hours? Most companies don't. Why not? If nobody's supposed to be on the network from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., why are people allowed to go on the network from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Why? What's the purpose? If they need it, let's find out. If they definitely need it, we can give them access. If they don't need it, block everybody else. It's simple. Those are simple stuff that every network operating system since the beginning of time has allowed us to do, and we just don't use it. We don't use it. Microsoft Server allows you to do it. They've allowed you to do it since the first generation of Microsoft Server through Active Directory to block out times and days of when people can access, like weekends. Most businesses have no activity on network on weekends. Okay? They shouldn't have anyway. And they allow people in. It's open to do and to access in. And granted, there might be some managers or types that need to get in, or IT folks. In Active Directory, it's a check of a person's icon that lets them in during that time, and everybody else locked out. Yeah.
What's the argument against it? What's the, I mean, besides, even if say something popped up and they didn't have to get into it, it wouldn't be a big deal to call the IT guy and say, open it up.
Exactly, right. It wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, there should be some procedure for that. You know, it wouldn't be just like call the IT guy and you're in. It'd be some procedure to go through, but there should be procedures in there to follow through to get that to happen. So say it's a Saturday and somebody can't get in and it's an emergency, there's a procedure for that. Call your manager fills out this form, emails it to me, it's turned on, done. But there's got to be procedures, right? And so, but yeah, you're right. A lot of attacks would not happen if we just did what I just mentioned. Turn off every known entryway to your services, network services, when they're not in use.
So it's just laziness is why people don't do it, or they just
Don't think you need it. No, you don't think you need it. It's not laziness as much as you don't think you need to do that. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like an example being in your house. When you go to bed at night, do you leave every light on your house? No, you turn them off. You don't need them. Why do you keep them on? I mean, you turn the TV off, you turn the lights off, you lock the doors. There's the basic stuff you do. When you leave your business, we do the same thing, but we leave on things like the important stuff, which is information that's blocking securing our information. We keep servers on that maybe could we turn them off? maybe we could turn them off. Guess what? Some servers could be turned off on the weekends and then turned back on Monday morning. And guess what? Windows, if you've ever worked with Windows servers for any amount of time, eventually, guess what? They're going to have to be restarted anyway. And so, why not schedule it versus restarting them when they finally crash or when they blue screen or when they're slowing down? Why not schedule a shutdown? Why not? Can't be hacked in if it's turned off. Okay, simple stuff that, while stuff's out there, and believe me, hackers that run these scripted utilities that target places, when they see dead zones and IPs that they once used to see, they redirect it to another business. And if you did it for, might just take a weekend. Well, what's the deal with these guys? They're dead. Why are we spending time trying to access that? Forget it. We're going on to the next IP address. Seriously, that's how it happens. Because they work their job like a job. It's a job. It's not just fun and games. They get paid for it. Hackers work for hackers. Hackers. There's hacker consultants. There's underground stuff all over the world that people get paid to do certain stuff. And so they're not going to attack a company that has these type of simple guidelines in place that are guarding the network and guarding information. And these are simple stuff. This doesn't cost a lot of money to do. This is just the top ring of procedures, which everybody hates procedures. Everybody hates the term procedures because when you think of procedures, you think of rules, regulations. Oh, great. What can I do now? Oh, I can't. Oh, what don't you want me to access now? Let me guess. What website? Can't go to Yahoo now? What is it? Google? What? Twitter? What I can't do now? That's a de facto response, right, from folks that towards IT when they start, hey guys, we're gonna have a new procedure you're gonna have to follow. Procedure lingo for people translated is, oh, you're gonna put some restriction on us again, aren't you? That's what it is. That's what it's all about. Well, I'll just leave my cell phone in the car. Is that what you want me to do? I'll leave my cell phone in the car. I won't bring it in. Okay. And so you get that kind of attitude. So this semester we're going to learn how to secure that information. I do want to leave you with the last part I wanted to talk about, which we're not going to go to the slide, but the Network Security Plus certification. If you are interested in that in any form or fashion, shoot me an email. I'll reply back with websites you can go to begin learning how to prep for that test, because it is a test you have to take. We do have now this semester for students in the testing center a discounted rate. So I think that's usually like 175. It's like 115 now or something. And you get so many iterations you can take it, like 2 or 3 times you can take it. So if you fail the first time, take it a second time. And so I'll give you some pointers in the email of how to study for it. I've taken it. It's not one of those tests like some certifications where you have to recertify every so often. So if you wanted to take it, for right now anyway. So if you wanted to take it, it's a one-time thing where you study for it, then they send you a certification, and I try to do it every 2 or 3 years just to kind of keep it up. Yes.
Netflix does have expiration.
Network Plus, yes, you're right, they do. Yep. I try to redo mine every 3 years. Every 3 years. Yeah. I've always done every 3 years, irregardless. It's always just to be up on everything. And it's good for me, not only as a teacher, but I do a lot of contract work as well still, so helps a lot. Yeah. Yeah, each time, yeah. But, for the first time anyway, you get your student discount, so that's hopefully the second time around you're making some good money and you can afford the $175. Yeah. And so they make money off of it. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a middle of the road certification, meaning it's not Cisco, it's not Microsoft, it's just Security Plus, Network Security Plus. It's a very good, very thorough certification, and companies around Midwest look favorably upon the certification. So I always tell students, get this one, and then you can actually, when you get hired at place, they can pay for the Cisco certification sometimes, and even the Microsoft certifications a lot of times. But if you have this one, you've shown, hey, I'm interested, I've done this on my own, and then they can send you and pay for that certification for Cisco or Microsoft or whatever it is that you need certified for. So email me if you have interest in that. And then next Tuesday, we will discuss more in chapter 1 And then also next Thursday is our very first lab, and our lab next Thursday is going to be on NT Reset. NT Reset is a lab where I show you with a Linux tool that I'll give you how to reset the administrator password of a server or a client. Like say somebody's left your business, they quit, and they reset the administrator password on your machine. And so the only course of action would be either reformat it, or you can use this tool to null it out and log in. And so I'll show you how to use this tool called NT Reset. It's been out for a while. I've used it hundreds of times over the years. And it's been out, like I said, for about 8 years, NT Reset. And you'll take home with you the lab and the CD and the knowledge of how to use it. So, you had a question? Yes.
Yeah, you've got the research project due for this Sunday.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to up that due date because I don't want you to rush that. So thank you for mentioning that. I'm going to change the due date on the research project topic. There is a link there that sends you to a page of all the topics, which we didn't go over tonight. Definitely read those topics, and I will read them at the top on Tuesday when we come in, those topics again. But do read them before come to class Tuesday, and I'm going to change the due date from this Sunday to the next Sunday. So give you guys a little bit more time to think about it.
To be on the topics.
No, and at the very bottom of that topic list, there's an other. So that means anything that's related to network security, you're good. Okay? Thanks for bringing that up.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're done. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you.